Good morning and welcome to today's episode of Stand with Pride. I'm David Moore, your host, and today we will be sharing news and satire videos from YouTube that focus on the major news stories of this week. We open today's show with Wozni Lambry and Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks as they discuss that transgender activists are reevaluating their strategy after recent polling shows that the community could be losing support on several key issues. In the next clip, when you analyze how the Republican Party has operated throughout the years and the sheer amount of influence they've conceded to fundamentalist Christian sects, it really isn't all that surprising that a massive chunk of their base of support treats Donald Trump like America's Messiah. Rick Strom breaks it down. We follow that story with Ronnie Jeng on the day's biggest stories, including President Biden is considering preemptive pardons for Trump opponents, and authorities search for the gunman behind the United Healthcare CEO shooting. Plus, Grace Kulenschmidt takes airport security into her own hands after a woman snuck on to an international flight. Next, after a healthcare CEO was gunned down in Midtown Manhattan, a groundswell of support for the violent act sprung up online. What does this say about where we are as a country and where this could lead? Max Rose, Steve Badow, Dave Rohde, and Judy Gold. Join Stephanie Rule on the 11th hour. I have to say, of all the videos and of all the clips that we picked for today's show, I'm unimpressed with this particular clip. And I'm unimpressed with any of the people sitting around the table. While none of them view murder as an acceptable means for settling disputes, and for the record, neither do I, they make the case that the American people should be more sympathetic to the CEO and his family. Really. Ask any cancer patient who has been denied life-saving care. Ask any doctor, nurse, or nurse's aide who had to meet with families after a patient dies from a curable disease, but the drug to save the patient wasn't covered by the patient's health insurance. Would these same commenters be a bit more concerned about the health insurance industry that offer medical care to the highest bidder? If they or their loved ones could not get life-saving therapy simply because an insurance company, in an attempt to avoid paying out an expensive tab, decides that a particular drug or therapy regimen is simply experimental. We wrap up today's show with this reporting from Chris Hayes. After Republicans took back the Senate with the help of money from the crypto industry, they now have a plan to return the favor. It is truly one of the most audacious schemes I have ever seen in Congress, according to Chris Hayes. That's what we're going to be looking at and listening to on today's program, Stand with Pride.